Neonicotinoids, good or bad? First, let's look at generally what they are. And second, let's look at the pros and cons to figure out if they should continue being used. The definition of a neonicotinoid is a systemic agricultural insecticide resembling nicotine. They are absorbed by the plants, which can be present in pollen and nectar, which makes them toxic to bees. Neonicotinoids can be applied directly to the soil, around a plant's roots, or a coating on a plant seed, which means when the plant grows, it literally soaks it up, making the plant itself fully toxic. Once in the soil, the neonicotinoids remain active for years, and rain or irrigation water can easily carry them long distances to contaminate new soil, plant life, and water supplies. Like I said earlier, neonicotinoids are toxic to bees because of the plant absorbing them, which makes the nectar toxic. Now let's look at the pros and the cons of using neonicotinoids. First of all, for the pros, it prevents crops from being ruined by various insects. This allows crop yield to be higher than it would be without the pesticide. And if neonicotinoids were banned, the overall operating cost to grow crops per acre would increase, causing sales prices to increase as well, while producing a smaller amount of crop output. Now on to the cons. Like I said earlier, they are absorbed by the plants, which can be present in pollen and nectar, making them toxic to bees. This makes a plant, for example, let's take a rose, from looking like this to looking like this. Neonicotinoids are also some of the most deadly pesticides to insects. The problem is that they kill indiscriminately, exterminating not only pest insects, but also countless butterflies, bees, and other wildlife. According to nrdc.org, neonicotinoids harm much of the wildlife they touch. Studies in just the last few years have linked neonicotinoids to losses of birds, the collapse of fisheries, and birth defects in white-tailed deer, to name a few. Beekeepers lost more than 45% of their honeybee colonies between April 2020 and 2021, the second highest losses on record. In my opinion, I think the cons outweigh the pros, so I think neonicotinoids should be banned. There are a few ways that you can help in your own community. One example is by making sure that you do not use unnatural chemicals in your garden. Another way is to plant flowers in your garden to let bees roam or give them food. In your community, people can set up gardens or bee-friendly spaces. I think the US government should restrict the use of neonicotinoids, but the real question is how. They could either amp up the price or tax neonicotinoids heavily to get people to use other things, as it would no longer be cost efficient. Also, inspections should happen often to make sure these pesticides are not being used. What do you guys think? Should the US government outlaw these harmful pesticides?